I did it. I saw it. I saw it. I had been debating with myself if I wanted to see this movie to do a review on it for probably almost a month since I started this channel pretty much, or started actually posting videos on this channel. And it took me a while to come around to it. That's kind of why I didn't do a review on it on Friday when it first came out. But a lot about this channel for me personally is just stepping outside my comfort zone, and this movie was a huge leap outside my comfort zone. I really don't like clowns, and I really don't like scary movies, so putting the two together was a big no-no for me. And I hadn't seen the original miniseries on ABC back in 1990, and I hadn't read the novel either, but I did know the basic storyline and premise for this movie because I had watched a couple YouTube videos talking about the original miniseries, so I knew kind of what was going to happen. I watched a what's the difference between the book and the original miniseries, so I kind of know some of the differences and main plot points in the movie, which kind of was stealing myself for going into this because I knew I would be terrified the entire time. By now, most people know what it is about, but if you've been living under a rock, it is the story of a bunch of 13, 14-year-old kids who were bullied in school, and they live in a town where a bunch of children have been disappearing and other strange things have been happening for years and years, and nobody notices. It is based off the novel of the same name by Stephen King. The movie centers around 7 children who are played phenomenally by some amazing child actors. Jaden Lieberher as the main protagonist, Phil, Jeremy Ray Taylor as Ben, Sophia Lillis as Beverly, Finn Wolfhard as Richie, Chosen Jacobs as Mike, Jack Dylan Grazer as Eddie, and Wyatt Olaf as Stanley. And, of course, Bill Skarsgård as the unforgettable Pennywise the Dancing Clown. I've never seen such great child actors since the Stranger Things kids, and it's no coincidence that one of these kids is from Stranger Things. Finn Wolfhard was probably one of my favorite characters in Stranger Things, and he stole the show in it. At least to me personally, he had some of the funniest lines, even though they were really kind of stupid and something every 13-year-old boy would say anyways, but it was just so funny coming out of his mouth, especially the way he acted as Mike in Stranger Things. But all of these kids are going to do amazing things, and slight spoiler alert for the ending of this movie, this is just chapter 1. Chapter 2 is coming out later, I would assume, because this movie has done so well at the box office. It's like one of the best box office openings for a horror film in a while. But if you know anything about the book or the miniseries, the chapter 2, I guess, won't contain much of the children except for in flashbacks. It'll be mostly focused on the children as their adult selves. So I don't think chapter 2 will really have the same dynamic between the characters as it did in this one, because you really felt like these group of kids were really great friends, and that kind of is the whole moral of the story, is that they have to come together and be friends to defeat Pennywise, which I feel like this whole video is just going to be spoilers, so spoiler warning, too late, but I feel like a lot of this movie centers around being friends, and that's kind of, I guess, a spoiler. I don't really know if that's a spoiler or not, but I guess it's a spoiler. One of the subtle hidden motifs throughout this movie is the fact that everything is kind of just hidden or swept under the rug. You don't really notice it, but in a lot of this movie, they don't really talk about or acknowledge that the children are missing, except for the Losers Club. Like, they're the only ones who actually really care or think about it, and none of the adults or anybody else really talk about it, except for when you see one lady putting up a missing poster when one of Henry's goons disappears because it got him. But it's like when that guy goes missing, they put this poster up and nobody even mentions the fact that he's gone. Like, you later see Henry and Belch and his other friends kind of just hanging out there, and they don't mention the fact that their friend is missing or anything else like that. It's just, he's gone and nobody cares. They also do this with Bill's brother, Georgie. They talk about it for a brief second, but then it's gone. It's just swept under the rug, which this whole kind of plot line of nobody caring is swept under the rug of this movie, which I think is a brilliant idea. You don't really notice or think about it unless you're actually noticing or thinking about it. Like, once you find that thread and pull at it is when you actually notice that this is just a whole big thing that they're not talking about, and the only people that are talking about it are the Losers Club. If that makes any sense. I feel like I just went on a huge rainbow of nonsense. I do want to talk a little bit about Pennywise. I'm trying to avoid it. I'm trying to avoid looking in the viewfinder at that, because that to me is terrifying. For some reason, I can see his mouth reflected in the lens too, and for some reason I feel like the balloon is moving and his mouth is becoming more visible, even though it's just a picture on my computer. But that's what this movie has done to me. But there is the opening scene-ish, I guess, when Georgie is floating his boat in the rain and it goes down the drain, and Pennywise is in the sewer drain. And he's talking to Georgie, they're talking back and forth. The first time you see Pennywise, his eyes are blue. Actually, the first time you see Pennywise's eyes are yellow. They're reflected in the darkness when Georgie goes down to look for his boat. But then once he kind of starts talking to Georgie, they're blue. And then right before he takes Georgie's arm, his eyes turn yellow again. And I think that is such a cool little subtle detail. I feel like I say subtle a lot. Oh well, whatever. I just feel like they could have brought that detail in throughout the movie more, because once I noticed that his eyes had changed color, like it was instantaneous for me, I noticed that his eyes were a different color. And I watched for that throughout the rest of the movie, and I didn't see it at all. Like, his eyes were always yellow every time he goes to see one of the kids. And I feel like they could have used that device to show when he's kind of luring in people or children, I guess, and then when he's trying to get ready to attack them. But I think since instead of doing that, they went with facing or showing the children's fears of certain things, like Bill's fear of losing Georgie and Bev's fear of her dad, were kind of another way of them showing this. But I think it would have been interesting to kind of lure the children in with Pennywise, like they do a little bit in the miniseries. They don't really show the children with their fears. They kind of just show Pennywise. Everyone sees Pennywise and that's it. They don't really see their fears manifesting any other way except for Pennywise, and then later on in the miniseries as this giant spider thing, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. But if you would like a really good breakdown of the original miniseries, which is where I've been getting a lot of my information and backstory on the original series, or it's a two-parter, I guess, check out the channel Dead Meat. James, the host of that show, or channel, I guess, did a two-part kind of breakdown of the series in general, plus all of the kills. So definitely check out his channel. I will link it below or in a card somewhere up there, I believe. Maybe there. But I'm not affiliated with him in any way. It's just a really great channel where he talks about horror movies and stuff like that, which even though I'm not a horror fan, he still puts out really great stuff. So finally, my score on this movie. I know that's what everyone's been wanting to hear, because this one was a tough one for me to score. It was a really great film overall. I really enjoyed the entire ride, but I was terrified the entire time, and I don't know how I feel about it. It had all of the classic jump scares and gore and scary stuff, which you would expect from a horror film. It is definitely much more gory and scary than what I have seen of the original miniseries. So I think the score I would give the 2017 version of it would probably be a 7 out of 10. I know that's kind of a low score. A lot of people are giving it higher than that, I I'm pretty sure a lot of people are giving it like 85% or an 8 out of 10 or a 9, things like that. But it's just, I'm not a big fan of scary movies, and which is kind of why the score is a little bit lower for me. But if you want to hear more about my thoughts on scary movies, I will be doing a whole bunch of scary movie or Halloween type movies throughout the month of October. So that'll be a fun thing. I may try to watch some more scary movies and talk about those in October, but we will see. I may talk about Mother this week, which is also a movie that's going to scare the living crap out of me. But that is everything. As always, these are just my opinions, and I want to know yours in the comments down below. What did you think? Do you enjoy Pennywise? Do you enjoy It? I don't know how I feel, and I'm probably going to have scary clown dreams tonight, and I'm not excited. Thank you so much for watching, whoever you are. I really appreciate you. Let me know who you are in the comments down below, and let's be friends. If you enjoyed this, leave a like and subscribe if you're new, because I talk about movies, TV shows, nerdy stuff. It's gonna be a great time, so stick around, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.